Pallavi, latest attack coming in from Anurag Thakur on the Aam Aadmi Party. Obviously, the AAP will react. Too soon for them to react. But what are you picking up on this front? What's going on?
Well, the Aam Aadmi Party and the BJP, of course, have been indulging in a war of words yesterday after first Union Minister Hardeep Puri announced that the centre had cleared for EWS flats, at least 240 of those for Rohingya refugees in Delhi, in Bakarwala. Then, of course, came the clarification from the Home Ministry that no such decision had been made. In fact, they had been pressing the Delhi government to declare the area where, in fact, in Madanpur Khadar, where, in fact, these refugees and illegal immigrants have been staying, for that area to be declared a detention center. That was not done at that point of time by the Delhi government, so they have not notified for that area to be called a detention center, and that was one of the big arguments that the center had. And they said that as far as the plan about these illegal immigrants is concerned, the center is absolutely clear that they are here without papers. They do not have the right to be here, and this is about national security, and the center will not compromise on national security. This is also about the resources of the country. They are only for the citizens of the country, and hence the centre's decision is extremely clear that they will be deporting them as soon as possible as per the law. But what the Aam Aadmi Party and the BJP have been engaging now is in a war of words, where they're producing documents to prove that it was one or the other's decision, in fact, to provide for these 240 EWS flats in Bakarwala, Delhi, for these Rohingya illegal immigrants. The centre, of course, producing the letter, which was dated 29th of July from this year, where in a meeting chaired by Delhi Chief Secretary, he asked for the NDMC to immediately allot these 240 EWS flats, in fact, for these illegal immigrants, to provide for facilities over there, including toilets, etc. as well. So the centre is, of course, and the BJP is, of course, relying on that document, saying why was the Chief Secretary doing this, and it is the Aam Aadmi Party Delhi government which is responsible for, in fact, giving shelter to these Rohingya illegal immigrants and trying to legitimize their presence here in India. The centre's position is absolutely stated and categorical that they are here illegally and they will have to go back, so they will be deported, and there is no plan to provide them any sort of EWS flats. In fact, the Delhi government should be declaring the area where they are
the direction
right
of the stance that is coming from the United Nations Human Rights Commission on this front?
Well, as far as India is concerned, India has maintained a position that it is for India to, of course, look at its own interests first, as far as, the presence of illegal immigrants is concerned in the country, whether we can, in fact, provide for them. If it is a question of national security, if it is a question of who do these resources go to, then India will, in fact, look at its own interests first. And they are stating, the centre is stating, the Ministry of Home Affairs, which is the nodal ministry in this matter, is stating very categorically that these refugees, these illegal immigrants are here without any sort of papers. They're here illegally, and hence they will have to be deported back. But as far as the situation on the ground is concerned, yes, they're there in a particular area at the moment, and only as per the law, as per the convention, they will be deported back, but their presence here in India will in no way be legitimized.
But Pallavi, as far as the BJP is concerned, they clearly have taken a U-turn on this after what Hardeep Puri had also put out, right?
Well, Mr. Puri, of course, put that tweet out, which in fact led to a lot of controversy and a lot of, a lot of conversation, really. And then, of course, there were right-wing organizations like the VHP, that the RSS as well, that we spoke to, who came out very categorically stating that this is not the position that the centre has otherwise taken with the CAA. This goes against the grain of the CAA. What about the detention centres that exist in states like Assam, for instance? There are 6 detention centres in Assam. So why are we following one policy in Assam, and in Delhi we are providing for EWS flats for Rohingya illegal immigrants? So that, of course, created a lot of confusion. It was embarrassing for the central government, which is why the central government then, via the nodal ministry, the Home Ministry, in fact, issued that clarification and a categorical statement saying there is no plan to rehabilitate Rohingyas in India. There is no plan to allot them any sort of EWS flats in Delhi, in Bakarwala or anywhere else for that matter, and they will be deported back. In fact, the Delhi government should have declared the area where they're staying in a detention center, which is what they've not done. But if you go through the documents, Chetty, you will hear both kinds of language as far as this debate is concerned. So there is the reference to detention center, there is the reference to restriction center, all of that. But now both sides over here in Delhi, of course, the Aam Aadmi Party and the BJP pointing fingers at each other after, of course, this row, which in fact was triggered by Mr. Hardipuri's tweet.